Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to my channel, Educational Corner. I hope all of you are doing well. I sincerely want to thank you all for liking my videos and sharing your valuable comments with me. You will get class 6th Hindi Malhar and Science Curiosity videos and class 7th English Purvi Hindi Malhar and Science Curiosity videos with important points and extra questions on my channel. You can also see all the playlist of these videos class and subject wise on my channel. So please do subscribe my channel and like and share my videos. Thank you. Today, as you are aware that we have already completed chapter 4, the world of metals and non-metals. We have learnt about various properties of metals and non-metals in this chapter. Today, we are going to start with important points. We have already covered explanation in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Then we have done the back exercises as well as the summary of this chapter, and today we are going to start with important points, and I hope these points surely will help you in your studies. So let's get started with important points. Difference between metals and non-metals. So this is a very important question. What is the difference between metal and non-metal? So metals and non-metals. Metals are typically solid, shiny and good conductor of heat and electricity. So as we have read in the lesson also that all the metals are shiny, means they are lustrous, then solid means they are hard, and they are good conductor of heat as well as electricity. Non-metals can exist in solid, liquid or gaseous state. Like we have learnt about mercury. Mercury is a non-metal which exists in liquid form. Then we have learnt about oxygen. Oxygen exists in gaseous state, right? Then solid, we have learnt about sulfur. It exists in solid state. So non-metals exist in three forms: solid, liquid or gaseous. These are dull, means they are non-lustrous, they are not shining, and are poor conductor of heat and electricity. So non-metals are poor conductor of heat and electricity, means they do not allow transfer of heat or passing of electricity through them. Then second point is metals react with oxygen to produce metal oxides which are basic in nature. So when metals they react with oxygen, they produce metal oxide, and these are basic in nature. Non-metals react with oxygen to produce oxides which are acidic in nature. So non-metals, when they react with oxygen, they produce oxide which are acidic in nature. Then metals turn red litmus blue because they are basic in nature, so they turn red litmus blue. Non-metals turn blue litmus red, okay, because they are acidic in nature. For example of metal is iron, aluminium, and here example of non-metal is sulfur, phosphorus. So this was the difference between metal and non-metal, which is the most important question. Lustrous metal have shiny appearance. Example gold, silver and copper. So lustrous means the metals which have shiny appearance, which look shiny. For example, gold, silver and copper, which is used to make jewelry also. Then non-lustrous metal means non-shiny metals. They appear dull because they don't have shiny appearance, so they are dull. Example, sodium and potassium. Metals are hard such as iron, aluminium, copper, whereas coal, sulfur and wood are not hard. Okay, so metals which are hard, these are iron, aluminium and copper, and the metals which are soft, they are not so hard, are coal, sulfur and wood. Sodium and potassium are so soft metals that they can be cut with a knife. So two metals which are very soft, which we can cut with a knife, are sodium and potassium. So they are called soft metals. First property of metals, malleability. The property by which materials can be beaten into thin sheets. So when we can beat the materials or metals into thin sheets, it is called malleability. All metals possess this property. So all metals have this property, malleability. They can be beaten into thin sheets. For example, silver foil and aluminium foil used for wrapping food items. So when we use silver foil or aluminium foil, which is used for wrapping the food items, we are converting aluminium into thin sheets and using it as a foil. Gold and silver are the most malleable metal. So gold and silver, they can be beaten into thin sheets, so they are the most malleable metal. So two most malleable metals are gold and silver. Coal and sulfur are brittle in nature as they can be broken into pieces easily. So coal and sulfur, they are brittle in nature. Okay, brittle means they can be easily broken into pieces. Okay, so coal and sulfur, these are coal and sulfur are brittle in nature. Sulfur is a non-metal, as you know, and it can be broken into pieces. That is why it is brittle in nature. Wood is neither malleable nor brittle because it neither gets flattened into a sheet nor breaks into pieces. So wood is neither malleable, means it cannot be flattened into a sheet, thin sheet, and neither it is brittle because it cannot be broken into pieces. Harappans used copper and gold to make utensils, jewelry, etc. So Harappans, they used copper and gold to make utensils, jewelry, etc. They didn't use iron, they used copper and gold first. Agricultural tools made from iron are much superior due to its strength. So the agricultural tools like plow is made up of iron, and they are much superior. Why? Because they are because it is made up of iron and it has a lot of strength in it. Ductility is the second property of metals, the property of materials by which they can be drawn into wires. Okay, so the property in which materials are drawn into wires, simple thin wires, it is called ductility. And all metals, they possess this property. This property is mainly possessed by metals. Which property? Ductility. What is ductility? Ductility is when any material is drawn into wire, it is called ductility. And basically all metals, they have this property in them. Then ropes made of steel, of metal and non-metal wires can be used in cranes to lift heavy objects. So ropes which are made up of steel, steel is made up of a metal and non-metal, and these wires are so strong that they are used in cranes to lift the heavy objects. Sonority. Now this is the third property. Sonority means the property of metal that enables them to produce a ringing sound. Okay, so the sound which is made by a metal, for example a steel spoon, if you use a steel spoon, it will make a particular type of sound. So that sound, ringing sound, is called sonority. All metals are said to be sonorous in nature. So all metals are sonorous in nature. Why? Because they have a ringing sound. The transfer of heat from one point to another point of material is called conduction, and material that transfer heat are called conductor. So when heat is transferred from one point to another point of material, ठीक है, जब हीट ट्रांसफर होती है एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट में मटेरियल के, उसे हम कहते हैं कंडक्शन। और ऐसे मटेरियल जो हीट को ट्रांसफर करते हैं, अलाउ करते हैं हीट को ट्रांसफर करने के लिए, उन्हें हम कहते हैं कंडक्टर्स। The materials that do not transfer heat from one point to another are called insulator. ऐसे मटेरियल जो अलाउ नहीं करते हीट को ट्रांसफर होने के लिए from one point to another, they are called insulators. Okay, for example, when we talk about steel, in steel if you are using a steel spoon, ठीक है, तो अगर आप उसे एक हॉट कप में, टी के कप में रख देते हो, तो वो स्टील का जो स्पून है ना, वो बहुत जल्दी गर्म हो जाएगा। ठीक है, बट अगर आप एक प्लास्टिक का स्पून यूज़ करते हो उसको स्टीयर करने के लिए, तो प्लास्टिक जो है वो गर्म नहीं होगा। तो प्लास्टिक क्या है, इंसुलेटर है, और स्टील जो है वो कंडक्टर है, क्योंकि वो हीट को ट्रांसफर कर रहा है फ्रॉम वन पॉइंट टू अनदर। ठीक है, और प्लास्टिक जो है वो ट्रांसफर नहीं कर रहा है हीट को फ्रॉम वन पॉइंट टू अनदर, सो इट इज कॉल्ड इंसुलेटर। सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन कंडक्टर एंड इंसुलेटर। कंडक्टर क्या होते हैं, जब हीट ट्रांसफर होती है from one point to another point of a material, and जब heat transfer नहीं होती from one point to another, they are called insulator. Then materials that allow electricity to flow through them easily are called good conductor of electricity. So good conductor of electricity means the materials which allow, जो अलाउ करते हैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को पास करने के लिए, जैसे कि आयरन एंड कॉपर, दे आर कॉल्ड गुड कंडक्टर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. Okay, that is why we are using iron pan, because they allow electricity to pass through them. Materials that do not allow electricity to pass through them are called poor conductor of electricity. For example, plastic and rubber. So materials जो अलाउ नहीं करते इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को पास करने के लिए आर पुअर कंडक्टर ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. एग्जाम्पल इज प्लास्टिक एंड रबर. So this is the difference between good conductor of electricity and poor conductor of electricity. Good conductor are which allow इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, जिससे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पास हो सकती है, उन्हें हम गुड कंडक्टर बोलते हैं, जैसे आयरन, कॉपर, सिल्वर. एंड मटेरियल जो अलाउ नहीं करते इलेक्ट्रिसिटी को पास होने के लिए, वो होते हैं पुअर कंडक्टर. फॉर एग्जांपल प्लास्टिक, रबर, वुड. ओके, The process of formation of rust on objects made of iron is called rusting. So ऐसी प्रोसेस जिसमें आयरन ऑब्जेक्ट्स के ऊपर जो है एक ब्राउन कलर का डिपॉजिट फॉर्म हो जाता है, उसे हम बोलते हैं रस्टिंग. ठीक है, और ये जो ब्राउन ऑब्जेक्ट होता है या ब्राउन डिपॉजिट होता है, इसे हम क्या बोलते हैं, ब्राउन डिपॉजिट जो आयरन ऑब्जेक्ट के ऊपर होता है, इसे हम बोलते हैं रस्ट. ओके, ब्राउन डिपॉजिट आयरन ऑब्जेक्ट के ऊपर, उसको हम रस्ट कहते हैं. और जो ये प्रोसेस होता है रस्ट फॉर्मेशन ऑन ऑब्जेक्ट्स मेड ऑफ आयरन, इट इज कॉल्ड रस्टिंग. ठीक है, यानी कि जंग लगना. प्रेजेंस ऑफ बोथ वाटर एंड एयर आर एसेंशियल फॉर रस्टिंग. तो ये लेसन पढ़ते वक्त भी आपको मैंने समझाया था, एक्टिविटी भी समझाई थी कि दोनों ही इम्पॉर्टेंट है, वाटर भी और एयर भी इम्पॉर्टेंट है. दोनों इम्पॉर्टेंट है, अगर दोनों होंगे तभी रस्टिंग पॉसिबल है. तो प्रेजेंस ऑफ बोथ वाटर एंड एयर आर एसेंशियल फॉर रस्टिंग. बोथ आर इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर रस्टिंग टू टेक प्लेस. The rusting of iron can be prevented by painting, oiling, greasing and galvanization. So rusting of iron को हम कैसे बचा सकते हैं? किसी भी चीज़ को अगर रस्ट लग जाए, जंग लग जाए, तो हम उसे कैसे बचा सकते हैं? पेंट करने से. ठीक है, पेंट करेंगे तो वो बच जाएगा, ऑयलिंग करेंगे तो भी वो जंग लगने से बच जाएगा, ग्रीसिंग करने से बच जाएगा, और गैल्वेनाइजेशन. गैल्वेनाइजेशन क्या है, अगर हम आयरन ऑब्जेक्ट के ऊपर कोई जिंक का कोट कर दें तो उससे भी जो है वो रस्टिंग होने से आयरन जो है वो बच जाएगा. So these are the prevention or preventive measures which we can take at the time of rusting of iron. What are the measures? Painting, oiling, greasing and galvanization. This is very important. What is rusting and how does it take place? When both presence of water and air are there at that time it take place. And what are the preventive measures you can take? You can take preventive measures like you can do painting, then oiling, greasing, and galvanization. Gradual deterioration of metal surfaces caused by air, water, and other substances is known as corrosion. So this is the definition of corrosion, that when there is a gradual deterioration, मतलब गिरावट होना किसी चीज़ में, हम metals को continuously जब use करते रहते हैं, हाँ, और metal surface को use करते रहते हैं और उनको बार बार air, water के साथ जो है वो कांटेक्ट में आते हैं या किसी और सब्सटेंस से, तो उसको हम corrosion कहते हैं. ठीक है. Then non-metals like oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, etc. are equally important in our day-to-day life. Okay, so non-metals I have taken here three names: oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, sulfur भी है. ठीक है, so all these are important in our day-to-day life. Metals are important and non-metals are also important. Metals react with oxygen to form oxide, which are basic in nature, and turn red litmus blue. So metals react with oxygen. Metals जब ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्ट करते हैं तो क्या फॉर्म करते हैं? ऑक्साइड फॉर्म करते हैं. और वो ऑक्साइड जो है वो बेसिक होती है नेचर में, इस वजह से वो रेड लिटमस ब्लू जो है वो चेंज हो जाता है. रेड लिटमस है वो ब्लू में चेंज हो जाता है. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट इज non-metals react with oxygen to produce oxide which are acidic in nature and turn blue litmus red. Non-metals जब रिएक्ट करते हैं ऑक्सीजन के साथ तो क्या करते हैं? वो एक ऑक्साइड प्रोड्यूस करते हैं और ये एसिडिक होते हैं नेचर में और ये ब्लू लिटमस को रेड में चेंज कर देते हैं. ठीक है. मेटल्स जो है ऑक्सीजन के साथ रिएक्ट करते हैं तो ऑक्साइड फॉर्म करते हैं विच आर बेसिक इन नेचर एंड क्या टर्न करते हैं? रेड से वो ब्लू में चेंज कर देते हैं. और नॉन मेटल जो है वो जब रिएक्ट करते हैं ऑक्सीजन के साथ ऑक्साइड फॉर्म करते हैं और ये एसिडिक होते हैं नेचर में एंड दे टर्न ब्लू लिटमस रेड. नॉन मेटल्स डू नॉट रिएक्ट विद वाटर. नॉन मेटल्स जो है वो वाटर के साथ रिएक्ट नहीं करते. Then some special metals are used in atomic energy such as zirconium and titanium. तो स्पेशल मेटल्स जो एटॉमिक एनर्जी में यूज किए जाते हैं, जिरकोनियम एंड टाइटेनियम. ओके, दीज आर दी स्पेशल मेटल्स. टू एग्जांपल इज जिरकोनियम एंड टाइटेनियम. Metals and non-metals are part of elements. So both are part of elements, metal and non-metals. Okay, and what are elements? An element is a substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substances. So element क्या है? It is ऐसा substance है जिसको और simple substance में तोड़ा नहीं जा सकता. ठीक है, और इसी element का part है metal और non-metal. Okay, so with this I have come to the end of this video. I hope you have understood all the important points. Now I'll come up with the extra and important questions as my viewers are asking again and again for the extra and important questions. So I'll meet you soon in my next video. Up till then, take good care. Goodbye.